AI is rewriting what it means to be an artist. And it scares me sometimes. Everyone is talking about how AI can make art, but there isn't enough discussion about what artificial intelligence takes from artists and where this is all going. In 2016, Hayao Miyazaki, the founder and creator of Studio Ghibli, said that AI-generated art was an insult to life itself. And when he said it, I understood it. I grew up watching Totoro and Princess Mononoke. Spirited Away changed my life. Miyazaki spent decades of his life creating these beautiful scenes and these incredible stories that breathed with life. So when he saw a machine that could mimic creativity, of course he saw it as something that was completely soulless. But here's where I'm conflicted. I'm not Miyazaki, okay? I don't have a studio of animators working under me. I don't have decades of classics. I am a mom of two. I'm an artist just trying to make it. And AI is helping me do the boring parts faster so that I can actually make the work that I love. I recently read an article called Miyazaki's Misunderstood Warning by Uktarsh Upadhyay. He points out that the quote where Miyazaki says that AI-generated art is an insult to life itself is actually misquoted. He points out that Miyazaki wasn't outright rejecting all of technology or even all of AI-generated art or animation. Miyazaki was responding to a disturbing 2016 demo of a computer-generated zombie creature that moved like a human body in pain. His reaction wasn't against technology. His reaction was against cruelty. Miyazaki's warning wasn't against machines, but it was against losing empathy in our creative work. And that's what this video is about. It's not about exploring whether AI is good or bad, but it's about how I'm learning to use it without losing my soul. When people hear that I use AI, they assume that I sold out or that I'm letting a robot make my artwork for me. But that's not what's happening. I've never been shy or judgmental of new technologies, and I try to keep an open mind and I try to keep up with what's happening in technology. AI does feel different for sure, but one way that I am using AI is to quickly create concept art. So my risograph print Strawberry Late actually started off as an AI-generated mock-up. I started by generating a few rough mock-ups of what I wanted to make, and it wasn't perfect the first time, or the second, or the third. And I did this using software called NightCafe, which is specifically geared towards artists, just to explore shapes and to explore composition. And just a little backstory, I had just come out of a really rough bout of postpartum depression before making this piece, so I really just wanted to make something that made me feel happy and made me feel creative, and I didn't want to be hung up on creating the perfect piece. I knew that I wanted to create a surreal landscape. I knew that I wanted giant strawberries. I knew I wanted there to be a lake, and I knew I wanted this warm feeling of summertime. I can't remember the exact prompt that I used, but it came up with a few rough ideas. And what I did after I got those rough images was I was playing around with them in Photoshop, and so I chopped it all up and placed things where I wanted them to be. And then once I had something that I liked, I redrew the entire thing in Photoshop. So layer by layer, I was adding the colors and making it feel the way I wanted to, because the AI generated one was just too crisp and it was too soulless. So in the case of Strawberry Lake, AI really took the pressure off of that awkward initial concept phase and allowed me to get to the part that I really wanted to get to, which was working with colors and making the composition just right. It's still one of my most favorite pieces that I've made in the past few years. For me, what AI does best is it eases the tension between the ideas that live in your head and what you actually make. Okay, let's go into how I use AI in my creative workflow. Now that I'm making these YouTube videos, I've been using ChatGPT to help me write my descriptions, to help me write my scripts, to help me write the titles. I'll start off with an idea that I like, and then usually it's pretty disorganized. I have a lot of notes and a lot of disorganized thoughts. When I'm working with ChatGPT to create a script, is I'll ask it to ask me some questions about what kind of videos that I want to make and what kind of message that I'm trying to get. I'll answer the questions that it gives me, and then it will spit out a script, and it is never the script that I end up using. I do a lot of editing to the script that it generates. I'll plug in whatever script that it generates into a Google Docs, and then I'll edit from there. And then after I do the editing on my end, then I'll plug it back into ChatGPT and ask it to scan it for redundancy. When I was making my ASMR crafting videos back in 2016, 2017, I was knee deep in Adobe Premiere, and it was a big learning curve for me to use this platform. I am so glad that I did learn it, but there are so many parts of editing that are just incredibly uncreative and just so time consuming. Another AI tool that I find to be so useful in my work process is using Descript. So Descript is a video editing platform which is text-based. It will transcribe your video, and then you can edit your video based on the transcription. This is super helpful for these talking head videos. If you have ever edited a video, you know that you spend so much time editing out all of the ums and the likes and that gross lip smacking that we all do, and the awkward pauses while you collect your thoughts. When I decided to start making these YouTube videos earlier this year, I knew that I could not keep editing these videos using Adobe Premiere just because it is too time consuming. This means that I get to spend more time on doing the parts of making these videos that I actually like to do. I get to come up with the concepts of the video. I get to experiment with the pacing, focusing on the introduction and making sure that it's a really strong introduction that will hopefully hook you. Are you hooked? You hooked? The world around us is changing faster than we could have ever imagined. According to a graphite study in 2024, over 50% of new articles published online were AI generated. So that means half of the new content that we read and we watch and we engage with isn't even made by a human anymore. And there are AI content farms that are just flooding the internet with AI slop, images, articles, product descriptions, all generated faster than a human being could create or verify. And for artists, that is dizzying. It means originality and authorship are becoming harder to trace. Your work could inspire something that you will never get credit for. And that, I think, is the part that scares me. Not the technology itself, but how quietly it is mimicking human creativity while making it look effortless. It also scares me how fast we are moving without really considering the ethical ramifications of where this is all going. I ask myself where I'll be in 6 months, where we'll be in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years. And I do doubt that AI will render creativity obsolete, but I do feel like AI will create a greater divide between the artists who make it and the artists who don't. So the artists who are booking gallery shows, who are getting the grant funding, who win the awards, who will ultimately be remembered in history. Historically, women, people of color, and queer people have been completely underrepresented in the art world. And I think that if we're not careful and if we don't have these discussions now about how AI can equal the playing field rather than create a greater divide, we will see these underrepresented groups further disenfranchised. So yes, I do get it that Miyazaki calls AI an insult to life itself. But at the same time, I feel if we refuse to engage with this new technology, that we are being erased from any future conversation about it. I don't see AI as replacing art. I do see it as a way to make the processes more simple and quicker. And I am not a big studio. I am one person who is doing every single aspect of my creative art business, balancing that with having a life, having children, and all of the things that life demands from me right now. I also think that it's incredibly important that we stay aware that there are so many AI generated videos and images being created that can be used as propaganda to demonize other groups of people, other countries, other cultures, people of different socioeconomic statuses than us. And a lot of times these images are used to inflate our very human emotions. It is really important that we question the human cost to the convenience of using AI. So what is the real cost here? And I don't know yet if using AI in my workflow makes me a sellout or just smart, but I do know that by ignoring it would leave me feeling behind. And I'm not really ready to despair yet. So here I am. I don't think that AI has a soul, but I do think that the way we use AI reflects our soul. There's a really great quote from this article, which I will link to below, and it's this. We've all seen those AI generated Ghibli style posts floating around. They can be beautiful in a surface level way, but can AI create the next Spirited Away? A deeply layered story with unique characters, cultural nuance, and emotional arcs that resonate across generations and cultures? No, I'd wager it won't for a very long time, if ever. Studio Ghibli isn't just the style, it's a studio, a team of living, breathing artists led by creative vision. The subtlety of Miyazaki's storytelling, the specific choices that gives his films soul, those come from a place of human experience and intuition that an AI, which has neither life experience nor genuine intuition, simply does not possess. Some artists might disagree with me here, and that's fine. But for right now, AI is just another brush, another tool that I can choose to use consciously. I try to remember that photography never killed painting, and printmaking never killed the illustration process. But both photography and printmaking did change the world permanently. AI is not about me surrendering my creativity. It's about surviving in a world that is evolving faster than I could have ever imagined. And maybe I'm feeding the machine, and maybe I'm just adapting. Either way, I want to stay human through all of it. So let's keep this conversation going. That's where I'm at. I'm somewhere between curiosity and caution, and I'd love to know what you think. Are you using AI in your creative workflow? What tools do you use? Does it inspire you or does it scare you? The really cool thing about artificial intelligence right now is that we are all new at this. Thanks for being here. And if you want to see exactly how I use AI to update my Etsy listings to be more ChatGPT optimized, then check out this next video and I will see you in the next one. Bye.